Welcome to this week's episode of the Decero Diaries. We're going to start off with a Prince of Thorns book review by Epic Tales. Now, anytime somebody reviews Prince of Thorns, I will probably come across it at some point just to see, like, oh, is there another Prince of Thorns fan out there? Being that is one of my favorite novels, Epic Tales actually reviewed this and what he did with his editing and how he broke down the narration. He narrates part of the story, and he puts in all these graphics and all these pictures and artwork. And the amount of time it must have took him to put that together, I'm sure it was a lot. But this was a very nice, well-done review about a book that I love. So go check that out. If you're a fan of grimdark, Prince of Thorns is one of those staple books that you should check out at some point. Next up, we have Twitter Judges Your Bookshelf by Man Caring Thing. Now, he does a lot of skits, but this is probably one of his best, I think, and it just came out this last week. He basically pretends to be Twitter itself and goes and starts judging his bookshelves, and it's hilarious. You need to go check it out. Also, he just passed 5,000 subscribers and had a little live stream event for that. Congratulations on passing 5K. And if you haven't checked it out already, go check out his channel. It's one of the best BookTube channels out there, and it's just growing rapidly. Go see it. Then we have It's a Numbers Game, BookTube and the Pressure to Perform by Spinster's Library. She actually takes a look at what it's like to be a booktuber behind the scenes. Not just the positive, there's a lot of positives, and it can be very rewarding. However, there's definitely some downsides, and the stress and pressure of uploading and creating new and cool and creative content will always be there. And she really explores that. And she interviews a bunch of booktubers, including one of my booktube friends, Pablo Suarez. Then we have Reading the Worst Book of the Year, Kissing the Coronavirus book review by Writer's Block. Now, I forgot this was a thing, and I was reminded of it this past week, so I feel like you should have to be reminded now too. Sometime back in grade school, maybe you heard the phrase, "there are no dumb ideas." And this book really tries its hardest to prove that wrong. Man, it's a really bad book. And check out this book review, it's pretty funny. Then we have Stop Looking Down on Fantasy by Gabby's Arcanum. Now this comes up every once in a while, and anytime it does, I'm just like, yes, stop hating on fantasy. Stop. The fantasy genre gets a lot of hate. In this video, Gabby kind of goes on a rant, just defending the fantasy genre. And the message here is that more people would like to read if schools allowed them to read interesting things, like fantasy. And I agree. And then we also have another booktube friend of mine, Maza, over at the Maza Booktuber channel, where he is on his never-ending mission to tier rank all of the Stephen King book covers. If you're a fan of Stephen King, this is definitely worth checking out. He goes through just so many Stephen King titles and breaks down their covers. It's great. And then we have Raoul Reads, who came up with, I think, a pretty cool concept. He's calling it a buddy read series, but he's reading them by himself. But he'll have another booktuber give him 3 recommendations, and he'll read those all, and then rate and rank those 3 books. So he started off this series with yours truly. So his first episode is called Buddy Reads David Decero, and so I had him read Prince of Thorns, of course, The Warded Man, because I know he doesn't read a ton of fantasy, and I feel like people who don't, like my girlfriend, she doesn't read a ton of fantasy, but she really loved The Warded Man, so I feel like that was a good pick for him. And then Moon Called by Patricia Briggs. I didn't know he doesn't like vampires and werewolves, so that might have been a bad idea. The biggest news is the Bram Stoker Awards announced their winners. In case you're unaware, the Bram Stoker Awards are like the biggest award in horror, I think, right? I mean, if I'm wrong, let me know. Is there something bigger out there? I don't think so. So we have some winners like Superior Achievement in a Novel. We have Stephen Graham Jones with The Only Good Indians. I really need to read that. I'm going to take all the winners here and put them in my TBR. Clown in a Cornfield has been recommended to me a few times. I'm going to check that out. That won Superior Achievement in a Young Adult Novel, and that's by Adam Decero. There's just a lot of good stories here to check out if you're a fan of horror. You could read the first chapter of Stephen Erickson's new novel, The God Is Not Willing, over on Tor.com. I'll link that in the description below. And man, I really need to finish Gardens of the Moon. Shh, don't tell anybody I haven't finished yet, but I will finish that. Oh, and then also we have a Kelsier skin in Fortnite. Now, you might not care about Fortnite. Maybe you only care about Mistborn. That's fine. I really need to go back and read Mistborn. That's another one where it's like, there was a period where I tried to listen to a lot of audiobooks. I didn't listen to a lot of it, or most of it. I listened to Mistborn on audiobook. There's huge chunks I've missed, so I need to go back and read that. But if you've read the book, or read the series, and are hyped and familiar with Kelsier, then this is probably very exciting for you. I bought it just to support fantasy characters being in video games. I like that. Anytime that happens, I want to support that. I recently watched Cruella on Disney+. I didn't really have any expectations going in. I just knew the kids wanted to see it, and so we watched it. It was amazing. Like, it's such a great example of a negative change arc for a character. Like, there's a character, Cruella, obviously. We all know it's a villain origin story. It's really a story about somebody who at some point just decides to embrace the worst parts of their personality, and it's heartbreaking in that respect. And it's just so well done. The music's really cool. The shots all look amazing. It was a nice, pleasant surprise. Also, over this last week, I've been in a massive reading slump. I think doing buddy reads at first broke me out of a slump, and I had a good couple months where I was just knocking down books, and now I've kind of hit a spot where I'm like a rough patch, basically. I think I started 3 books at the same time that were all big books, and I started them at the same time, which means reading the first half of the book, which is the slower part of the book, especially in fantasy. There's a lot of world building and just getting acclimated to the magic system and the characters, and the long list of characters and all that. But now I'm heading towards the second half of these stories, which will be more exciting, and it's just getting better and better. So I assume I will get out of this slump. What also is not helping is that I haven't been able to drink caffeine for the last week. Yes, going a whole week without caffeine, which sucks. But recently I found out I had GERD, which is a gastroesophageal reflux disease. But basically having like acid reflux has made it so the trapdoor from my esophagus to my stomach isn't working as it should. So I have to just take medication for a couple weeks and then watch what I eat and drink. So no caffeine, no alcohol, no chocolate, no tomatoes, no garlic, no onions, no anything that tastes good or brings you joy, basically. And that's been crappy. But yeah, I can't wait to have another cup of coffee. And then as far as my writing goes, this week I will upload my chapter by chapter plot outline, just so you can see the conflict and tension, the beats per chapter of my short story. Or there on a more positive note, my girlfriend recently graduated with like 4 AA degrees, and then she's going on to go get her bachelor's. She's very hardworking, crazy smart. You might say, why is she with me? I don't know. That's it for now. Until next time, see you guys later.